Hello YouTube, some guy over 40 here. I'm bringing you another short video. Okay, I was messing around with the Revol, got the motor put back in. I was running it, I even put a new fuel line in. Look at that. And I thought I bought a longer one. It was really short, so I had to use a good section of the old one, which is no big deal. I just got done putting some after run oil in it. I'm going to take my air filter apart, wash it with hot soapy water, dry it out, and then oil it back up and put it back in. Now, I had this thing is a screaming machine, I tell you what. But one thing I noticed, it gets hot. I mean super hot. And I made sure, because long ago, if you see that, it says high end and low end. 3 3/4 turns out for the high, and low end is 2 1/4 out. Now that came from Traxxas themselves, and that's like the stock setting. So that's exactly where I have it right now. I wrote it on the wall because I was on the phone with them and all that stuff. So, and there's a Traxxas 3.3. Then we're going to pick this up. And then I noticed zip ties. I was thinking, okay, I'll put stronger zip ties on. So I did. And then ran it again. Then all of a sudden, let's pick this up. Look at that mess. Whoa. Look at it, it ripped. And I tell you, I'm having the worst luck. I think this is definitely the original rubber on this, and it went through a whole gallon of fuel, so I don't know if that's the life of it or what, but boy, oh boy. You can see the old zip tie melted. I put this new one on and zip tied it, then it ripped. So of course, when you have no exhaust pressure, if you have any type of exhaust leak, you won't get any fuel pressure, which makes this car run. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut that out of there and purchase another one. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully that my local hobby store, which is 20 some miles away, hopefully they have it in stock. They're trying to get out of Nitro and fifth scale and all that. They're working on mostly on Traxxas X-Max and all electric. He has electric track indoors now, so he's trying to get out of the Nitro business, which sucks. I mean, that's why I have to order all my stuff online. So yeah, you can see the exhaust just spewing out. Look at that. That is nasty. Just spewing out of that. So that's why I'm not getting any fuel pressure, and it will not idle whatsoever. But I'm having fun with it. Like I said, I got the motor back in. Had a little bit of a hiccup, of course, with the, I don't know if you can see that way up in there. Trying to get that back into the groove for the throttle. I mean, it worked great. I just had to take off this piece from the top screw here off the carburetor slide and drop it down in instead of unbolting everything. And then I noticed with that spring, it blocks. Let me get the screwdriver out, or the Allen wrench. It blocks that going down in there. I mean, it was already tight, I mean, you got to force it and get around that spring. And I hate to do that, but I did it to tighten it up. But yeah, she's a runner. She's definitely a runner. So yeah, let me go ahead, see if I can do this one-handed. I don't have my GoPro, I have my phone on me right now. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Then I had to do all kinds of adjustments with this this mount. Had to move the mount differently because this pipe is angled different than the original. Okay, see if I can get this without cutting it any more here. There we go, there's one. Yeah, I have all kinds of zip strips. They're a dime a dozen. So I didn't know what the heck was going on. I thought I just kept melting them. Like I said, it's very difficult to do it one-handed. There we go. So now we got the zip strips off. Oh, yuck. I guess it does hit right there. They said it was going to hit. So then you pop that baby off. Oh, yuck. Blowout. Yeah, that's nasty. That is definitely garbage. Right there. We definitely have a blowout. But yeah, that exhaust is angling down, so I had to change this around and make this better, which is fine with me. I mean, as long as it works. Ugh. See, now when you put that together, it's somewhat together. See, it's still angling down, as you can tell. But hey, as long as it runs, all that matters. I could probably rebend this bracket and move this that way a little bit, so you know it'd be more of an angled up. Oh, maybe that's the reason why it ripped. I have no idea. Boy, that is nasty. Alrighty, guys. Just another dilemma for the Traxxas Revo, which is no big deal. Just replace the part and go. I might have to order something stronger than this. I wonder if they make something a little bit flexible with some metal bands. Ugh. That is nasty. Yeah, let's take a look at the whole thing. Yeah, and then we're going to slowly come over to the garage here. I want to show you my DBXL. This thing was the best today. But one thing is, I mentioned in the other video that what kind of Loctite should I get, the red or the blue stuff, or if there's a different color, purple or whatever, let me know, because while I'm ordering that thing for the Revo exhaust, I'll order that off of eBay too. I'll get a large bottle of it. Yeah, I mean, she's a little dirty. She was going to town, man. It was really weird. This bolt right here, shock bolt, was almost all the way out. I could not believe it. And then the carburetor came loose on this. I mean, I just couldn't believe that either. I tightened it back up. Then the exhaust keeps loosening up right there. So that's why I want the Loctite, especially, you know, for the heat. Make sure it's good for the heat. Yeah, and then another thing happened. This control arm, or whatever you want to call this right here, it popped off. It was off. I had to push it back on. I don't know, stabilizer bar arm or something. I don't know what that is. Yeah, a lot of things could happen. Like, let's see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. Boy, it's hard to see. If I had some light. There it is. Look up here. As you can tell, the axle boot ripped off of there. So I gotta get a set of those. And that's one of them that ripped way up there. And I think there was another one somewhere. I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. It's on this side. I gotta change hands. There, she's ripped a little bit. I don't know if you could tell. Right there, towards the end. But besides that, man, it's a blast. I actually ran 2 tanks of fuel today in it. I mean, that's the most I've ever ran in one sitting or one day. And the neighbors weren't too pleased. But I go across that field and try to stay in the middle of that field across the street. And hopefully they don't complain of the noise. And then I'm always having problems with these clips. There's so many clips. I wish there was an easier way. Did anybody come up with an easier way to take that body on and off? I mean, this is this little trivial stuff. I know it comes with the territory, but boy, I would love to have some type of a quick release on here to take off. It takes like 5 to 10 minutes to put this baby back on, because especially the front is the pain. If I can't get my fat fingers up in there to move these posts, they don't want to go in those holes very well. Boy, she got really dirty. Wow. That's from the high grass hitting it. So it's grass stained. And then I did somersaults with this thing. I thought, oh boy, here we go. Like 4 of them. It was fun. I mean, I had a blast today. And now with this, after the second tank, I let this rest for a while. And I figured, well, we'll do the Revo. And then the Revo, I put it all back together and ran it. It started right up and stayed idling. I was shocked. I wish I had that on film, but I didn't. But yeah, so far so good. I'd like to get this figured out a little bit more. Yeah, but I have to run oil in it. I don't know if I said that already. And she's all set for storage for a couple days. Probably about 4 days. Oh, maybe I'll order another chunk of fuel line. Get the same color. I kind of like that color. I'll put that back in there like it was. There we go. And it's kind of neat how that wraps up around in there. Yeah, so far so good. Well, yeah, one of these days I'm going to make a video. I'm going to tear this thing apart and see what it's all about, and see if it has a fuse in it or something. I've seen videos that some servos have a 1-line fuse, and if that blows, of course it won't work. So if you solder a thin piece of wire in there to kind of act like a fuse, and it'll work again. I want to see that. And then another thing, I don't know if you remember when I put the other servo in, you notice, I'll get this in focus, there's the Phillips screw. I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave that Phillips screw in that brand new servo. I couldn't do it. So I've used the old screw that was in this into the new servo. Because that Phillips, boy, you can round that head easily. Alrighty guys, I'm going to get going here, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.